First, I'm going to tell you why the British Teens and Masters is such a special event, and then how you can even watch it at home. Welcome back to the channel. So once again, I want to highlight a CrossFit licensed event. However, unlike the Down Under Championships that has the draw of having some of the biggest names in competitive CrossFit attending, well, this competition is special for a very different reason. That is, of course, the British Teen and Masters Championships that will be happening the 10th and 11th of September. So I wanted to start by talking about why this is such a special event for a particular part of the CrossFit community, and then follow up with how you can actually watch it at home. So if you hadn't guessed by the name, this of course is a competition that focuses specifically on the age groups, the teens and the masters. Now, while of course they are not the only competition to host these categories, there is something to note when we compare it to other competitions that may also have a teens or masters division. So before the competition kicked off last year, I actually had the opportunity to record an interview with the founders of the British Teens and Masters Championships, the mother and daughter team of Mandy and Emma Dean. You can actually watch those videos on their YouTube channel, but in that conversation we discussed some of the choices that they made when they were establishing this event. So first of all, let's talk about the focus of the event, that it is on the teens and the masters. Now, of course, they are not the only competition to feature these categories, but when you have a competition where these are categories by the side of the elite individuals or the elite team divisions, often we see that those elite divisions seem to dwarf the attention given to the teens or the masters. We see this at the CrossFit Games every year, and we see it at other events as well. And of course, if an event isn't even giving attention to the teens and masters, it may be that people don't even know that was a category at that event. So that is why this competition focuses solely on the teens and the masters. They are the stars. They're not competing around the corner somewhere else while the main stage is lit up by the elite individuals. This is their competition. But it's not just about shining a spotlight on the teens and the masters for a change. It's actually giving them the opportunity to get some in-person competition experience, with the winners of each division actually getting some money, which is something not even the CrossFit Games does for its teen athletes. And speaking of the CrossFit Games, if a teen wants to make a run at the Games, that is going to be primarily an online competition, with the Open, quarterfinals and semifinals all being online. And that's a season that can end pretty quickly for some people, as the quarterfinals and semifinals are done on a global leaderboard, as opposed to the elite individuals or teams that are region-based, trying to get a larger representation globally. And then it is only the top 10 in each division that will actually get to compete in person at the CrossFit Games. Another reason why it can be really challenging for teens in particular to get that in-person competition experience is the way that many competitions will set up their teen divisions. For example, the European Championships did have a teen division, but that was an under-18s division. So that means if you're 14 or 15 and you want to try and break in, you're going to be going up against 17 or 18-year-olds. So that is going to be incredibly difficult. As we know, particularly in the teen divisions, the difference a year or two can make is really huge. So when we look at the British Teens and Masters Championships categories, it's very interesting to see the way the divisions have been set up. So for the teens, for example, we have 13 to 15, then we have 16 and 17, 18 and 19, and also 20 and 21. So that's quite a nice breakdown of ages, but you may have noticed something interesting there. 20 to 21. So technically, they're not teens. So what are they even doing here? Well, one thing we've noticed in CrossFit is how difficult it can be to break out of the teen division into the elite RX field. We see this at the CrossFit Games, although admittedly more so on the men's side of the field than the women's, particularly looking at athletes like Emma Carey and her recent appearance at the CrossFit Games. So it's just giving those athletes that are 20 and 21, just coming out of the teen division, another opportunity to throw down with their peers before going into that full elite RX division. And we see something very similar on the Masters side too, because it follows the traditional CrossFit style, going from 35 all the way up to the 65 plus. But we will once again notice an extra category. We have the 30 to 35 division. So that is a few years younger than CrossFit would classify someone as a master. So while 30 may not be old, we do know that going up against a 23-year-old, a 25-year-old. It can be challenging once you're 30 plus within CrossFit. So it's nice for them just to have an opportunity to throw down in a slightly narrower field with people of a similar age and just get a little bit more experience on the competition field that way. And really, that is the draw of this competition. It's highlighting these athletes, making them the stars for a change, and also giving them that opportunity to throw down in narrower categories where they're going to be going against people of a very similar age, obviously a similar skill and ability, having gone through the qualifiers. So it's just a great opportunity for these athletes to have their time to shine. That being said, don't get me wrong, they are incredible athletes. In fact, on both the teens and masters sides in years past, we have seen athletes that have been to the British Teen or Masters Championships and then gone on to the CrossFit Games, or previously been at the CrossFit Games and also had the opportunity to compete at the Teens and Masters competition. So it is something you don't want to miss. Now at this point, I know what you might be thinking. This actually sounds like an incredible event. I'd love to see it, but unfortunately I cannot get down to CrossFit Southampton, coincidentally the home of Kelly Friel, the fittest 40 to 40-year-old on earth according to this year's CrossFit Games. So am I going to miss this event? Well, I'm very happy to tell you that I will actually be attending in person, and together with one of my co-hosts from Plate Stack Chat, Sam LaRoche, and a few friends that we've managed to rope in, we're going to be doing our best to provide a free live stream that will be available on the YouTube channels of the British Teens Championships and British Masters Championships. Now, while we cannot promise you the same production quality that the CrossFit Games feed will have had, we can at least guarantee we're going to point the camera at every single athlete on the field. So that means if it is a friend or family member that you want to watch throw down, you will have the opportunity to see them compete. So there you have it, the British Teens and Masters Championships, a CrossFit licensed event that is giving this portion of the community their time to shine. So let me know in the comments if you plan to be there in person, if you're hoping to watch it on the live stream, or if there's another CrossFit competition that you feel deserves a little bit more attention. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.